9.1 is called the addition property of equality. So what we're going to be doing here in chapter 9 is we're going to be solving equations. In solving equations, what we're really trying to do is we're trying to get the letter by itself, okay? And so my first problem here says x plus 7 is equal to 10. So I'm trying to solve for x. I want to get the letter x by itself. So the first thing I notice is that my operation right here is to add. I'm going to undo that by subtracting. So I'm going to go subtract 7 on both sides. These 7s will cancel out. My x will be all by itself. And 10 minus 7 is 3. Alright, for the next problem here I have x minus 2 is equal to negative 4. So again, I want to undo the process. If I'm subtracting 2, I want to undo it by adding 2 on both sides of the equation. That's going to leave me with x is equal to negative 4 plus 2 is negative 2. Alright, let's try the next problems that we have here. Okay, so the next one I have is negative 11 equals 3 plus x. Remember, I'm trying to get the x by itself. Since my 3 is positive, I'm going to undo that by putting a minus 3 on both sides. These minus 3's will cancel. Negative 11 minus 3. If I owe $11 and I borrow 3 more, I would now owe 14. Great. Okay, so in the next problem I have, the first thing I notice is that I have multiple x's. So what I want to do is, on the same side of the equal sign, I want to combine my like terms. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a line going down like this, just to let me know that I have two sides here. 7x plus 2x is going to give me a 9x equals 8x minus 3. I want to get the x by itself, so I need to get all my x's together. So I'm going to go ahead and minus 8x on both sides. Oops, sorry about that. Let me get rid of this here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and subtract 8x on both sides. These 8x's will cancel. 9x minus 8x will just leave me with an x is equal to negative 3. Alright, so in this next problem I'll do it the same way. I'm going to go ahead and draw my line going straight down here. So this is going to be 2y plus 10. 5y minus 4y would give me a equals y. Now again, I want to get all my y's together. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract 2y on both sides. Sorry about that. Oops. Okay. Subtract 2y on both sides, minus 2y. And that's going to leave me with a 10 is equal to, I can think of that as a 1y. A 1y minus 2y would be a negative 1y. So again, I want to get the y by itself, but I have a number in front of it. So I need to get rid of that negative 1 by dividing both sides by negative 1. And that's going to leave me with y is equal to negative 10. Alright, in our next problem here we have a negative 5 and then parentheses n minus 2 equals 8 minus 4n. My first step here, because I have so much parts again, I'm going to go ahead and draw my line going down, and I'm going to distribute my negative 5. So that's going to leave me with a negative 5n, oops, plus 10 equals 8 minus 4n. Again, I'm going to go ahead and move my smaller n to my bigger n. So the negative 5 is actually the smaller n. I'm going to add 5n to both sides. These will cancel. That'll leave me with 10 equals 8 plus n. So let me write that again up here. 10 equals 8 plus n. And now if I want to go ahead and solve for n, I can just subtract 8 on both sides. And that's going to leave me with 2 is equal to n. Alright, we'll try the next one. We'll do it the same way. The first step is I'm going to go ahead and draw that line going down. I want to move my smaller x to my bigger x. So I'm going to go ahead and move my, minus 5x on both sides, minus 5x on both sides. And I'm now going to have negative 6 equals x minus 5. I'm going to go ahead and add 5 to both sides. Oops, sorry about that. And negative 6 plus 5 will leave me a negative 1 is equal to x. So let me scroll down so we can try our next problem here. Okay, here we go. Again, my first step I want to do here, guys, is I want to go ahead and draw my line going down, and I want to go ahead and combine my like terms on this side. So 8y minus 6y is going to give me a 2y. So I'm going to have a 2y plus 2. And then over here, sorry about that again, equals, on this side, I can go ahead and combine my 3 and my minus 10. So that'll leave me a y minus 7. All right. So now if I want to move my smaller y to my bigger y, I'm going to go ahead and minus y on both sides. Minus y on both sides. These y's will cancel. 2y minus y is going to leave me a y plus 2 equals negative 7. I'm going to go ahead and minus 2 on both sides. And y is equal to negative 9. All right. In the next problem that I have here, again, I have parentheses. So let me go ahead and draw my line. Let me distribute my negative 3. So that's going to leave me with negative 3x plus 12 is equal to negative 4x. If I go ahead and move my 4x over, because that's my smaller term, the negative 4x, so if I add 4x to both sides, I'm now going to have, that's a 4x, I'm now going to have, so negative 3x plus 4x gives me an x plus 12. On the other side, we now have 0 because these 4x's have canceled out. So my final step is just to go ahead and minus 12 on both sides, and we come up with x is equal to 12. All right. So my next problem here, very similar to the one we did before. Let me fix that. Here we go. Again, I'm going to go ahead and draw my line going down to separate my two sides. Distribute. That's going to leave me with 2x minus 8 equals x plus 3. Okay, so if I decide to move my smaller x again to my bigger x, so minus x and minus x, okay, that's going to give me x minus 8 equals 3. So if I write that up here, x minus 8 equals 3, and I add 8 to both sides, we now come up with x is equal to 11. Alright, so we have one more problem here in 9.1, which is this one right here. And again, I'm going to go ahead and take my time with this problem. Here's my equal sign, so I'm going to draw my line there. Let's distribute our 3. So that's going to leave me with 3n minus 15. Now, I'm going to think of this right here as a negative 1, and I'm going to distribute that negative 1 to both sides. So that's going to give me a negative 6 and a positive 2n equals 4n. Okay, so let's make sure that looks like a positive 2n. There we go. So now I'm going to combine my like terms. 3n plus 2n is a 5n. A minus 15 and a minus 6. So minus 21 is equal to 4n. Again, if I move my smaller n, if I move my smaller n to my bigger n, minus 4n, minus 4n, that leaves me with n minus 21 equals 0. So now when I add 21 to both sides, I now have n is equal to 21.